The New York Times is claiming that damaging testimony on former Representative Matt Gaetz has been downloaded by a hacker.
Oh no!
Interesting. According to the publication, the unidentified hacker accessed a secure link among lawyers whose clients testified against the Florida Republican, according to a knowledgeable source who spoke with the Times. The files were downloaded by a person using the alias Altum Beasley at 1:23 p.m. on Monday, according to that person, who was not authorized to speak publicly. So, confidential source. A lawyer connected to the case sent an email to the address associated with Altum Beasley, only to be informed in an automated reply that the recipient does not exist. Well, that is fascinating. All right. So that said, what does this report say? Well, the file is said to include sworn testimony by a woman who said that she had sex with Mr. Gaetz in 2017 when she was underage. In addition to testimony by a second woman who said that she had witnessed that encounter. So you got corroborating evidence there. You got backup. All right. The hack trove of documents stems from an altogether different source, a civil suit being pursued by a friend of Mr. Gaetz, Christopher Dorworth, a Florida businessman, the newspaper reported. Mr. Dorworth filed the suit against both the women who say she had sex with Mr. Gaetz when she was a minor, and Joel Greenberg, an erstwhile ally of Mr. Gaetz, who was serving an 11-year prison sentence after pleading guilty to federal sex trafficking charges involving the woman. So somebody's already gone to prison for this, Joel Greenberg, whereas Matt Gaetz, according to the woman, and another witness is like, oh yeah, he totally did it. So, I mean, there's no doubt about that. All right. Now, the material does not appear to have been made public by the hacker. Okay, so I guess that hacker is leaving it to members of Congress to do the right thing. Oh boy, for now, at least. Now, the documents also include, by the way, information under seal with the DOJ and House Ethics Committee. Remember, the DOJ had previously investigated this and decided not to press charges. And of course, the Ethics Committee, which is scheduled to meet on Wednesday, to decide whether or not to release that report. Oh boy, that is quite the development. So you've got this report, which, by the way, Gaetz resigned from the House because he was tapped by Donald Trump to be the next Attorney General. Okay, and so that's right before this report was scheduled to drop, and we don't know if it was going to be released publicly. Certainly, it had already been released on Monday to other members of the committee. So, interesting. Now, who knew that if you put up somebody as unpopular as Matt Gaetz, that you'd immediately have somebody getting the dirt on him? Oh, right. I think that was expected, at least by myself. And I'm gonna look. I'm gonna put on the tinfoil hat, okay, and say this: inside job. Okay, the call's coming from inside the house. What do I mean? Look, it's no secret that his colleagues do not like him. Okay, Matt Gaetz. All right. I'm not saying I have proof. Okay, but I think it's very possible that someone in Congress had a hand in this. Might have known some hacker friends, perhaps. Again, my speculation, pure speculation. But it just reminds me too much of what happened to Madison Cawthorn. Okay, remember, Madison Cawthorn's like, Congress has drug-fueled sex parties, and then would you look at that? Suddenly, all this dirt comes out about Madison Cawthorn. Not a coincidence in my mind. Oh no, not a coincidence. And so, of course, what did Matt Gaetz do? Well, for one, he deposed Kevin McCarthy. So I'm not saying Kevin McCarthy had his hand in this, but I'm not saying he didn't. Kevin McCarthy, too, by the way, the only reason that he was Speaker of the House is because he was able to raise lots and lots of money. So maybe somebody is related, or somebody didn't get that money, maybe misses that money, maybe has a little bit of a, I don't know, beef with Matt Gaetz, and who doesn't at this point? Very few people in Congress, and maybe even outside of it. So wouldn't surprise me at all if that is somebody who could be part of this. I know it's a conspiracy theory, right? Yes, it is. It is a conspiracy. And so I don't have any evidence of it. I'm just speculating because I think it's really interesting. Okay. That's it. Getting away from my speculation and back to some of the facts, I mentioned the entire Ethics Committee report has been released to the committee itself. In fact, House Ethics Committee Chair Michael Gaetz revealed on Monday that the formal report on their investigation into Matt Gaetz' alleged misconduct was made available to all 10 members of that committee. It only takes one Republican vote to make it public. Now, according to Politico, only guest and fellow ranking member Representative Suzanne Wild previously had a copy. Now, Wild is like, let's make this report public. But she can't do it alone. She needs public backing to do it. Okay? But there's more. So now it turns out that the lawyer for two of the women who testified to the House Ethics Committee, the former Representative Matt Gaetz paid them for sexual favors, said on Monday that one of the forms in which they were paid was the PayPal of Nestor Galbin, who Gaetz called his adopted son. Anybody remember Nestor? I remember Nestor. So now it turns out that he's involved through his PayPal, allegedly being used to pay off one of these women for sex. So, wow. Now, Florida attorney Joe Leopard recently told CNN, quote, that she testified to the House that she was walking out to the pooled area. She turned to the right and witnessed her friend having sex with Representative Gaetz, and her friend at the time was 17. He added, there were events at Airbnbs. Okay, so events like basically the drug-fueled sex parties. There were events at individuals' houses. There were events that took place as political events. There was a trip to New York. There was a trip to the Bahamas. So events like this did happen from time to time, perhaps over 10 times, over the course of July 2017 to early January 2019. So there you go. Yeah. Look, there's a lot of headwinds against Gaetz' nomination. That said, he has Trump as an ally so far because Trump picked him. All right. And not only that, but one of Trump's allies, Boris Epstein, actually had, put this in Trump's ear to nominate Matt Gaetz. And so, look, Epstein is, or Epstein or whatever, is one of Trump's longtime advisors. So somebody that Trump listens to. And so, yeah, that was the guy who put up Matt Gaetz. And so Trump's still an ally. And of course, Marjorie Taylor Greene, an ally of Gaetz. In fact, here's what she said about this. Quote, for my Republican colleagues in the House and Senate, if we are going to release ethics reports and rip apart our own that Trump has appointed, then put it all out there for the American people to see. Yes, all the ethics reports and claims, including the one I filed, all your sexual harassment and assault claims that were secretly settled, paying off victims with taxpayer money. The entire Jeffrey Epstein files, tapes, recording, witnesses, interviews, but not just those, there's more. Epstein wasn't/isn't the only asset. If we're gonna dance, let's all dance in the sunlight. I'll make sure we do. You know, it's funny. I rarely say this about Marjorie Greene, but let her cook. She's onto something. I know she's out there saying this to defend Matt Gaetz, all right, and scaring everyone into, not releasing this report, which makes me think back to Madison Cawthorn and that he was right. Oh, by the way, also not George Santos, okay, who also said similar things. All right. And it wasn't just idle threats. It wasn't just the normal prevarications that George Santos is, famous for making. No, I think that's one of the true things that he had actually said. One of the actual honest things, right? And now Marjorie Taylor Greene's like, you better release it all. Again, not a bad idea. Let her cook. again, I've always believed that mainly Republicans, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of the Democrats were as well, were engaging in these kinds of behaviors. Now, the thing about Republicans is they tend to play this, oh, I'm more moral than you. Oh, I'm a godly person. Oh, look at me. I would never do anything wrong like that. Oh, do drug-fueled sex parties. No, never. I would never do such a horrible, godless thing. Oh, my goodness. I'm a family values Republican. Family values. Sure. No, there's no doubt that some of these Republicans,
sexual anarchy,
all interested in that, okay? Doing a lot of sexual anarchy and don't want to get caught. But again, we're going to have to see if this report gets released and if it's as bad and as damaging as everyone keeps saying it is. Let's effing go. Let's see that report. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.